Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.
Welcome, everybody, to the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. I'm your host, Gavin, and as always, we are joined by the world's biggest piece of shit, Boyd. How you going, my man?
Mate, I'm going pretty good. Some realizations this week with our kicking off the playoffs against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But man, I'm I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've got ear things on. And they're really weird, man, because I feel like I should be yelling because I can't hear myself properly. You know how old people do that shit when they're
just slip one side off, mate. That's what I do. I just slip one side off, and it makes it easier. Now talk.
Oh yeah, okay. Now I got you. Now, okay.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Generally, I put it behind my ear so I don't look like a dickhead like you just did, like this. But you know.
All right. Thanks, mate. You could have told me this before. Fuck. All right, let's go. Yes.
So you're good, yeah.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. And introduce our guest here, young Corey.
I was gonna get there, mate. I was going to get there, but look, you're in training. We're trying to get you a little bit of grounding because I have told you that you'd be a fucking horrific host. You're a sidekick at best. So you go. You do the introduction. I want to say this:
the best fucking sidekick you've ever had. Just quietly, the only.
You are the Robin. You are the Robin to my Batman. You do the intro. Go, mate. Show us.
This is Corey Bowles from the sunny coast.
Wow.
Corey's a to everyone out there, Corey's a KD stan, right? And he's a guy that over the years we went to school together, and we played against each other in rugby league years and years ago, back when he played for Aspley. And but we've always loved our basketball, and we've stayed in touch over the years through social media. And he's followed KD from team to team. He used to be an OKC fan, right? And he followed into the Golden State Warriors, and I gave him shit for being a bandwagoner. But now he's stuck with the Golden State Warriors, and I'm really interested to know if he's going to jump ship now that the dynasty's over. But we'll get into that later. But the reason I wanted to get him on, the guy knows basketball, and he's been a big fan of he's been a big fan of KD since his inception into the league. So it'd be good to get someone else's insight who has followed him and watched him integrate with multiple different teams over the years. So we're just sort of getting amongst that now, Corey, and trying to figure out what's the best way to sort of unlock KD, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, so you've brought a guest in that can and we're excited. I'm excited to have Corey here. One of the questions I'm going to have for him later is great, but you just took the first 4 minutes to introduce him, and you haven't let him speak yet. Corey, how you doing, mate? Welcome on to the Aussie Suns Fans podcast, mate.
Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here. I've been copping it a bit from this man over the years. I knew he was going to try and stitch me up on the intro, but let him have his moment, because as your fans posted there, like we did give him a bit of a touch up when we played last. So he probably wants to pretend that never happened, but.
And I will say,
in
addition,
Pine were good. In fairness to you, Pine were good, but I think our last run in, I think we gave you a bit of a carve up at Aspley.
Yeah, probably.
I will say, no, it is great to have you on, and we'll get a bit of background on the KD thing. As I said, apologies that he decided to do an intro that became all about himself rather than the guest that was on here. But firstly, deepest apologies that you've been friends with him for that long. that's really, really unfortunate for you. And also, deepest apologies that you had to play that NRL sport. That's also a shame. But tell us.
No, we're here for the NBA though. We've been Boyd knows
That's
too.
it.
Like I've been an NBA fan for as long as I can remember. Honestly, like
Yeah, give us a bit of background, mate, on your NBA journey.
sure. Look, I'm obviously the same age as Boyd, turning 40 shortly, which is a bit scary. But followed the NBA since I was a little fella, and I played basketball as well all through growing up, and just never got tall enough to make anything of it. But followed the NBA always, and I always jumped around teams, to be honest. Even when I was younger, I always went for players more so. Obviously, not attached to the US, other than watching it. So obviously, the Jordan, the Hakeems, like the old school stuff. I was definitely a bit of a student of all that. Yeah, we're definitely old. And I always, as I said, I always went for players more so. And then I followed KD actually when he was at Texas. Funnily enough, I'd heard of him early on. I followed the college a little bit too, so heard about KD pretty early on. Just the fact that he was kind of the first unicorn, as you want to put it, but people didn't know about him as much then, and followed him there, and then followed him into the NBA. Started following OKC purely because of him, and then when the man made the move up to San Fran, I was actually, it's funny because I said to a lot of people close to me is wherever KD goes, I'll follow him, and a big part of it was because I'm going to America. I'm probably not going to go to Oklahoma. So there was for me to enjoy that experience of watching him, I probably needed him to go somewhere else that was probably going to be a more relative view to actually get there. And so then he landed in San Fran. I was a bit against it to begin with, but jumped on board. And then I said, that's it. Like, I'm just staying with this team. I just sort of fell in love with the organization, and who can't not, how could you root against Steph? Like, the man's just ridiculous.
Oh, no, we do it, and we do it very well.
I'm sure you do. But so followed KD there, and then obviously continue to watch him closely. Like, regardless of where he's at, I'll be a fan. Honestly, easily my favorite player of all time, up there with the Jordans and Stephs. They're the only two that I put alongside him. So yeah, man, definitely been a KD stan the whole time. Defended him through all the Twitter remarks and you name it.
Yeah, and there's been plenty of that around the narrative around KD and whether or not he would have been able to win. Look, at the end of the day, KD, I don't think the Warriors would have won the titles they won without KD going there. I mean, he's one of the and it's probably something we'll discuss at some stage down the line, but he's arguably one of the top 10 players of all time in the NBA.
I think all time? Nah.
I think they say top 15. People generally say top 15, I reckon.
Yeah.
So top 10 to 15, and he's been a very, very good player to follow, and we're enjoying that now. We're getting the fruits of that benefit now because, well, we saw in the first playoff game, which we'll touch on shortly. I mean, he was playoff KD, right? He did pretty much everything in that game of basketball. But all right, let's get on to that. That's it's again, thanks for joining us, Corey. It's great to have you on, and looking forward to a little bit more of your KD insight, which I'm sure we'll get about his performance in game one. Game one, disappointing end result there, Boyd. Wasn't the greatest, especially because over here we had to get up at 5 a.m. to watch the Suns dish up that shit. How did you see the game?
Yeah, look, I've been talking about it for weeks now. That extra gear, or extra 2 gears that I feel that the Phoenix Suns needed to sort of jump up to be competitive in any playoff series, really, because at the end of the day, it's the cream of the crop that we're up against, and teams live for this generally, and I don't think we did, and made me feel stupid. I honestly thought that there was some fugazi going on, and there was some tomfoolery in the way that we were saving a bit for the first round against Minnesota. We've had their number all year, and now we're fucking here. And look, ultimately, I think that we were out enthused. The physicality wasn't there. I was listening it rang home with me after listening to KD in his post presser. He said he said we'd like to break down the player and then look to pass and get people in motion and get people in rhythm. And we've been victims of far too much ISO ball all season, and we fell into that trap big time. Like I honestly feel like, and I've said this before too, Gav. We need to save that shit for the crunch time, the fourth quarter, to get ourselves out of a spot, not as a staple as our main fucking offensive diet. I think a major issue was the ball movement, which it reflected in the assist ratio. If you have a look at that, it was fucking terrible. But we've got a lot to work on, and if we keep on, the definition of insanity is fucking doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. If we keep doing this old hat shit in a fucking 7-game playoff series, could be against anyone, they'll work us out quickly and fucking put us away fucking 4. It's really disappointing that they can't see that and they can't do a better job of getting the other guys in rhythm. Like I said, out enthused, out rebounded fucking hard, man. You have seen the numbers there. Was it 13-3 offensive boards? Like, fuck me. I know they're big, but we've managed to fucking counter that in all season, and we just didn't, mate. And I honestly think it's a too cool for school type of an attitude that hasn't fucking fallen off in the playoffs like I thought it would. And they really need to have good hard look at themselves in the mirror. Game 2.
Corey, if you saw the game, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, mate. I watched it. I got up and watched it because I couldn't help myself. My team's out, so I'm definitely watching KD. But I have to say, mate, the other games I saw of you guys against the Timberwolves, I thought you had their measure, but it was because you guys actually really shut down Ant the previous times you played. And Boyd, you touched on it, the rebounds, mate. You got absolutely murdered in that game. I just had a look before because I actually hadn't seen the numbers. You could see it in the game, but you actually got out rebounded 52-28. Like that's
almost doubled.
Yeah. So that was the story of it. And I went back and had a quick look. When you played a week ago, it was a lot closer, 36-32. And you played actually a week before that as well, which you won. And you actually out rebounded them in that game. And both of those games, Ant struggled. I noticed like you really took him out of rhythm, and there was a lot of doubles going thrown at him, getting the ball out of his hands, which you didn't do. And obviously you saw there was a lot of ISO KD save us going on. And, that to me is pretty obvious. When KD only has 1 assist, that tells you that people are just throwing him the rock and saying, please do something. And that's sort of, it felt like that was what was happening the other night. You didn't really get any flow in your offense.
Yeah, I had to come for 6 assists. I honestly thought that the ball was going to be fucking zinging around the court. And, he fucked me real good.
Okay, let's get the negatives out of the way first. And you both touched on the rebounding. The rebounding was pathetic, putrid, not up to it. We gave up far too many offensive rebounds. We don't box out. I called the fucking show box out because that's what we were all screaming at the fucking monitor. Just box out. Get a body. For fuck's sake, we've known it all year. How can you not have worked that out by now? Rebounding, piss poor. Number 2, ball control. It was 15 turnovers to 14. It wasn't as bad as some of our games. KD did have 5 again. I still wish that dude had cut out that really, really shit turnover that he does, which is just a blatant laziness when he gets the ball sometimes. But again, we see the type of game that KD has. Okay, well, three times in a game he's going to be a little bit lazy with the ball and turn it over. We'd probably still cop that on the chin. Phoenix. When we outshoot the opposition from beyond the arc, we hit more threes than the opposition does. We are 31-7 this year. We had 28 3-pointers in total on in this game. 28. Now, I get it. One of the main things is, Eric Gordon, you're not allowed to shoot threes anymore. Actually, don't even come onto the fucking court. Sit your ass on the bench and fucking stay there. You're cooked. You're finished. Your career's over. Enjoy retirement. Grayson Allen couldn't hit his shots, but Grayson Allen had 3 field goal attempts before he got injured. Grayson Allen should be having more field goal attempts, particularly in the first quarter. 2 of those came just before he got injured. He had 1 3-point attempt, I think, in the first half. Like, come on. This is a guy who's leading the NBA in 3-point percentage. He's a guy that's had multiple games of 9 3-pointers in a game this year, and he has 1 field goal attempt or 3-point attempt in the first half. Royce O'Neal shot the ball well. Great. 4 from 8. That's kind of where we want Royce, right? We don't want him shooting many more times than 8 shots a game, but so that's good. Kevin Durant was 100% from 3. He took 2. 2.
That's a slight. I just want to double down on that, Gav. I feel like he doesn't push the envelope, and he hasn't been pushing the envelope. He's there seems to be they seem to be content with going out and having 2 of their big 3 go out and have super efficient games on medium volume. If it's a game when and I don't want it to be ISO. Don't read that into it, but I want it to be more plays played. One play into
but this
another
we've got 3 guys there. We got 3 guys there where when we've got ball movement, they're getting open 3-point shots.
Yeah.
Our highest 3-point attempts outside of Royce O'Neal was Book with 6, and every single one of them was a contested one. Not that wide open ball movement finding a player. KD was 2 from 2. Beal was 2 from 3. Used the fucking 3-pointer as a weapon. Now, the thing with KD, though, is the 2 from 2. When he is cooking an opponent and he knows he can just dribble around that guy, get to the mid-range and hit that mid-range over and over and over, which is what he was doing in this game, he's not going to take as many 3-pointers because he knows that it's a guaranteed bucket for him to get to the mid-range and hit that. And we saw that in this game. I mean, he still took, 17 field goal attempts. So he was our highest field goal attempts for the game. But
there, Gavin, is most of them were in the first quarter, and he didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the problem. He gets comfortable with his performance, and then you can call it deferring if you want, but he wasn't deferring in the way of setting other guys up. It was more of it was just a little bit quiet for my liking. And there was a little bit of you cook, I'll cook type thing. Like they just sort of let each other sort of run them. But is that partly not? And I don't know if you guys talked about this before, but like you haven't really got a table setter, right? Like you haven't got someone that's sort of setting things up. Book's obviously taken on that role a little bit. Beal's done it from time to time, and KD's capable, but he can't do it for 48. Like he can just come in and play on ball for a little bit and set things up. He's a good passer, but you don't really have somebody getting everyone into their set. And KD, you're talking about him taking threes. He likes to take it basically off the catch. Like he likes to be at the top of the arc and just literally catch, one step in and pop it. He doesn't like to have to come off the dribble, and that he'll go to that mid range every single time because he'll beat his man and they can't stay in front of him. But he doesn't really like to. He's not a volume shooter 3 unless you're just giving it to him off a catch. So unless the ball's swinging, unless the ball's swinging, it's not finding him for a 3 typically.
And that's the frustrating thing for Suns fans, because when we've seen the ball swinging, this team is devastating. With Bradley Beal in a corner, KD popping up up top of 3. It's why Grayson Allen has had so much success this year, because when we move the ball and we swing and move, we shift the defense. These guys have got open 3-point shots. We didn't do that in this game. Next,
they did kind of. Sorry, just
no, you go.
That one thing though, like you got to respect though. Game 1, sometimes that punch in the mouth on their home court, they come out, they put it on you pretty early, and I think that you probably take a lot out of that, to be honest though, because that's
Richard Jefferson said that, right? Richard Jefferson came out and went, you know what? Sometimes losing game 1's actually an advantage for the whatever team loses, because they are able to correct and they are able to motivate or have I mean, again, it sounds fucking stupid. These guys are on million or like multi-millionaires, and they've got to get motivated for a playoff game. But they may get become more motivated out of it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's what
because there's an upstart fucking Anthony Edwards he's still on his rookie scale contract. This is the last year of it, yeah.
Yeah.
He's already come out in the past, and KD is his favorite player. It's his GOAT and all that sort of shit. And he went out there and he humbled him, really. And you talk about taking the first punch. We took that in the first quarter, and we actually beat him by 1 point. It was 28-27 for that first quarter. The remaining the next two quarters, we lost by 11 and 10, and then we sort of made something of it in the fourth quarter, but it was fucking gone way.
So I'm gonna go back to that comment about Ant Edwards humbling KD. Ant Edwards didn't humble KD. He beat him in fucking 2 offensive plays. Now, the thing that frustrates me about this, did people see Anthony Edwards walking off the court at halftime?
No.
He was defeated. Bradley Beal had beaten him again. What happened in the third quarter when Ant Edwards caught fire? What was the change that gave Anthony Edwards all his momentum?
Well, I don't know who was guarding.
Bradley Beal went to the bench. It was a really, really shitty substitution. At the time, I was sitting there going, right now, I wouldn't be taking Beal off Ant Edwards, because pre that it was Cat that was cooking. Cat was the one that was keeping them in the game. Like pre-halftime, it was Cat that was doing the damage. Look, Cat's too big for KD. He bullied KD a little bit especially in the low post, particularly in the first half. But that's a choose your poison for the Suns that I'm happy to cop, as long as it doesn't end up with KD in foul trouble. We cannot let Ant Edwards run around on the court controlling the game without Bradley Beal in his pocket. Because the problem was that in that third quarter, when he got all his momentum, once he had that momentum, it didn't matter if we brought Beal back in, because he was hitting everything. He could have basically been shooting left-handed threes, and they were just falling because he got that momentum. Absolutely, he is.
Definitely. Yeah, that's why that last game, you took the ball out of his hands that last game. The other week, you actually tried to make Cat. You tried to make Cat beat us, and that's fine. Let Cat drop 50.
Cat beat us. Let Cat beat us. And that's the thing. We drove the ball out of his hands. Bradley Beal did that in the first half as well. When Andy's on the floor, so does Frank Vogel. I know you watched the show. When Ant's on the ball on the court, so is Bradley Beal. It's that simple. Keep him on and keep him in his pocket, because Beal, Ant Edwards' confidence in that matchup is not where he needs it to be, and that gives us an advantage. Exactly what Corey said. If let's choose the poison, I'd much rather us try to have Cat beat us with boring bump and shove moves on the inside that add no energy to an arena than a dude who gives that arena all of its energy, because that's what hurt the Suns. They got momentum. The crowd got really loud. They just got continued flow to the point where Ant Edwards is running and throwing down dunks on turnovers. That crowd went fucking nuts. The Suns were cooked.
Yeah,
we can't allow that to happen. Now the positives from the game. Devin Booker can't play that poorly. Again, he's just not the. And this is the thing, and I don't know how many games you've seen of the Suns, Corey. I had this conversation with somebody. I had this conversation with somebody who was an NBA fan yesterday when I was down the pub, and he said, "I don't get the hype about Devin Booker." And I said to him, "How many games have you watched of the Phoenix Suns?" And he goes, "No, just ones that are televised." Yeah, just the ones that are televised. That's what I've watched. Okay, well, let me give everyone a hint right here. Unless you're seeing what Devin Booker does in every game that he plays, you're not seeing who Devin Booker is. Now, Book's biggest problem at the moment is when the spotlight's on, he hasn't performed to where he needs to. So, Book, I know you also watch the show. Here's your chance. Here's your platform.
Your mate. Your mate.
Well,
got a photo with him and everything.
he came up to me at the pub and said, I watched the Aussie Suns Fans. Can we get a photo together? And I said, yeah, of course.
No.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
Here's your platform book. Hey, guess what? You lose this matchup to Ant Edwards, and Ant Edwards is going to be rated the number one shooting guard in the competition. If that's not enough of a fucking motivator for you, you got a long way to go, mate, to be Kobe Bryant, because that should be your one and only motivator. You need to be cooking Anthony Edwards to shut these people up.
It's also his first playoffs. It's his first playoffs too, so you don't want to give him that confidence, right? Like he comes into game one, he gets it going, and now he's riding high. But I actually, just on the positives though, mate, like you mentioned, obviously that you're not going to get that bad a game from Book again, but you're also probably not going to get that good a game across the board from the Wolves either. I don't know, like you look across the board, their whole team actually played really well. They were really consistent across the board. They all
except Mike Conley.
Well. Except for Conley struggled. But that's Conley anyway, right? Like he's that table setter for them anyway. He's the guy that's sort of just making things happen. But they all shot really well. That's, you can probably, highly unlikely they play that well again either. So there's a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the positive, right? Is they were firing on all cylinders, particularly after halftime. We know that the Suns' best basketball is better than what Minnesota can dish up. Now, it wouldn't surprise if we rocked out in game 2 and at quarter time we're up 36-18. It's the type of basketball that the Suns can play, but they have to make sure that we're stepping up to that level of playoff basketball. And I think you mentioned it before, Boyd. It's the next step now, right? You're in the playoffs now. You can't go through the motions in a game of basketball anymore. You have to be on from the start, ready to play, because the intensity levels lift in playoff basketball. Boyd, I don't think this is really going to be a debate at all, but who was your player of the game?
Oh, mate, it's KD for mine. No, I'd like to give it to Bill, but I don't know. KD, I think that he kicked the game off for us the way that we needed it to be kicked off. I've got my reservations about all of our players. But yeah, look, I want to give it to Bill. I want to give it to Bill. I just want to. But yeah, no, I'll give it to KD. KD probably had the most efficient game. I just don't think he applied himself. So I'm struggling to find a player of the game right now, and not give him a fucking jab in the ribs on on the way up to get the fucking trophy. So, but yeah, no, it's KD for mine.
Not Aaron Gordon for doing cardio. He wanted more minutes, didn't he? Didn't he say he wanted more minutes, and you gave him some? And
he fucking got him, man.
Yeah, I know.
I want more minutes. I'm a shooter. Just let me shoot. Yeah, well, I wish you would fucking start shooting. Because at the moment, you look like that guy that on the gift that just throws the ball at the backboard. Anyway, who was your player of the game, Corey?
Suns only? Is it Suns only?
Yeah, well, we do Suns only. So, yeah, don't come out here and tell it.
I respect that. I just want to test the waters. No, look, it has to go to KD, although I think honorable mention for Beal's defense. But, if his defense is going to be that good and he's not going to do anything else, I'd probably prefer what KD did, because he's so efficient, right? Like he makes it easy for you guys in the sense of like he's somebody that you can rely on. You're talking about the other guys being up and down over the last few weeks or even the season really, but KD just gives you the same thing every night. Like it's pretty much like if he's not giving you 10 assists, he'll give you 30 points and 6 rebounds. Like he just does the same thing over and over. He's so reliable. Like
yeah. No, zero debate here. Kevin Durant was easily our player of the game. Again, look, I've been on a Bradley Beal one-man promotion for the last 5 or 6 weeks, but as good as I think Beal performed, KD was the only thing really keeping us in the game for long stretches of that contest. It wasn't pretty from the Suns.
It's a tough one. player of the game is a tough one, but it has to be a son.
He did play well
okay.
in fairness. He did play well in fairness. Like 11
He
of
did.
17 is like
Yeah.
stupid good.
Yeah,
Best defense in the league.
he played a fantastic game.
And the Wolves still number one defense. Like they're up there, right? So him
I think they're one. Yeah, they're still one.
So you know.
All right. So game 2 on Wednesday, our time, 9:30 a.m. Boyd, what's going to happen in game 2?
Here's what I think happens. I don't think we see another game like that out of Nurk too on the boards. I think we really missed his activity there, and we shouldn't have to rely so heavily on one guy. It needs to be more of a team effort, like you said, Gav, boxing out, and just other guys just showing a bit of hustle.
Box out,
box out, motherfuckers! But yeah, it's just too often that everybody just fucking leaks out early to get back on defense and just fucking leaves Big Nurk there by himself. And look, when you go up against a team as big as the Timberwolves, they're gonna fucking catch you out there. But I think we see a much better effort. Well, I think we fucking pump them just quietly, and I think it's similar to what you said before, Gav. It's 38-12 in the fucking first quarter or something along them lines. Maybe not 12, maybe 20. But yeah, I think that we get them good. We get them early, and we go wire to wire on this one. And I think it's through a concerted effort on the boards. And I think that we do see better ball movement. And I'm actually here's something fucked up. I'm hoping there's a part of me that's hoping that Royce O'Neal is actually in the starting lineup with Grayson Allen's ankle injury, because I'd prefer him to get right for game 3. And I like the defensive intensity that Royce O'Neal brings, and his glue, the glue that he helps the team out with, and sort of his communication on defense. I like that in the starting unit. Although I do like Grayson Allen knocking down 9 threes a game too. But yeah, I think it's going to be a nice change against this a hot Minnesota team to have Royce in that starting lineup. So I think that we get him, and we get him good.
Corey.
Yeah, look, I think that it'll be a close one, but I think you get more out of Book, and I think he comes through in the fourth and actually carries you a little bit. I think that the difference between the first game and the second game for him is that he's actually going to have a little chip on his shoulder. I think that he's had a lot of bad press from that first game. There's been a lot of noise around Book and him, not performing at his best. And I think that he's the type of guy for me that's, he carries a lot of edge, and I think he comes out and puts that to bed.
Devin Armani mode Booker first quarter incoming. We know that D Book is the king of 20-point first quarters, individual 20-point first quarters. That's what we're going to see on Wednesday. We'll see Book come out, cook in the first quarter. We haven't seen it for a while, so I'm really looking forward to seeing it on Wednesday. Both Book and KD topping 30 in the game. Beal just to have, the lazy 18 and 6 and 4 rebounds, and setting the table for Book and KD to go to work. And I think that's what we're going to see. I can smell a multi too. I'll be all over it.
Coming on.
We know that when Book has stinkers like this, that's when he drops his 50s. He'll pop out with a 45 or a 50-point game. We've seen it over and over again when it comes to Devin Booker. So that's what I'm hoping for. And then just the quiet KD game of 32 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. So, yeah, I think we bounce back in this one. I've still got the Suns winning in 5
turnovers.
games. So 8 turnovers and whatever else. So, yeah.
Corey, you've watched this cunt, right, for a lot of years. Has he always turned the ball over so fucking much? Or has it just been something, it's just age? It's just fucking a little bit.
He has been a bit prone to it. He really has. I think, it's got to be a combination of he's a little laxed. He's just, he can be a little bit relaxed, right? Even off the court. You
too much weed.
Yeah. He can be a little bit stoned.
He's
smoking a ganja.
Yeah, so you do find like even that turnover the other night, like where Ant sort of picked his pocket because he was getting it back after it being knocked away, and then he went to go get it back, but he was so casual about getting it back that Ant just swooped through and took it and ran down and dunked it and gave energy, as Gav said. Like he is a little relaxed on that sometimes and can make a lazy pass, not on too different until Steph does the same thing sometimes, right? Like just loops it over and gets a little slack with his passes. KD has always done that. I think that the fact that he only took 17 shots the other day was a bit of a problem too. Like if he's 11 of 17, bro, take another 10. Like you boys aren't going to complain if he just goes and drops 30 shots. Like Kobe would have just put up 30 shots. He would have been like, fuck it, I'm scoring. Give me the fucking ball. And sometimes
especially when Devin Booker was missing fucking wide open layups. Now, when has Devin Booker ever missed wide open layups? Fuck's sake.
He looked rattled, eh?
Yeah, he was rattled. I don't know what it was. It was just Books had some shocking games before, particularly some of the, I guess, closeout games and stuff like that. But that was probably the worst I'd ever seen him play, Devin Booker. Like, even when he plays poorly, it's because he's missing a lot of mid-ranges and three-pointers and not getting to the basket. He was getting to the basket. He was just missing. And that doesn't really happen with Book.
Did you see him? Obviously, he's talking after the game about the foul trouble that he got into. Took him out of rhythm. He got pulled out early. What did you guys play into that? Do you obviously that's a factor. It's got to be. It clearly is something that rubs these guys, right? When they get out of their rhythm of what their usual rotation is, the time they come in and out, like that all plays into it. But yeah, you like for him to one of the things I think Suns fans have always been critical of Devin Booker about is when he gets frustrated by referee calls and whatever else, he gets himself into foul trouble. And they're the games he performs. Yeah. When he gets pissed off and turns into Armani mode Booker, that's the type of Devin Booker that we all love to see. But when he gets to a point that he did in that game as well, he drives his fouls up with stupid fouls too, because he gets frustrated and just runs down and gives away a free foul. And that's why it was the right move for Vogel to take him out, because fact is, Book got his third foul. The third foul came after he thought he was fouled at the other end. He ran down, fouled, I think it was Cat, at the other end of the court. He would have picked up 4 before halftime, because that's what we see Book do. Yeah. And
then it would have been completely screwed. He would have come in after halftime and picked up his 5th early, because that's what it happens. We've seen that book. We've read that book way too many times.
Read that book. I like that.
In fairness, though, you're in Minnesota. Like, I think you just need a baddie in the front row for Book. That's all you need.
That's probably true too.
A little bit of motivation, and there's probably not a lot going on in Minnesota. See, so it's cold.
And I'm also not going to use that excuse for Book either, and nor should he, because Ant Edwards had the same thing. He was on 3 fouls before halftime too.
Oh, was he? Yeah, right.
Yeah, both him and Book had to sit with 3 minutes left in the second quarter, where they normally wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So it's no excuse. It's no excuse for the performance. He let the calls get him offside, and that's what lost his rhythm, not the fact that he had 3 fouls. He lost his rhythm because he thought he should have got more calls on the offensive end. And hey, I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. I know for a fact, in my opinion, he should have got more calls. But it's playoff basketball, dude.
Yeah.
You got to get on with it.
Yeah.
Got to get on with it.
They know a lot of shit's going to get. They know the refs are going to let it play a lot more in. So that's a big knock on Book, and it comes down to it being a maturity thing. I think he's got to accept that shit isn't going to get called. It's a fucking playoff series. It's been like that forever and a day. I don't like it. I like games to be all called the same. I like them to play right to the last minute, all this sort of shit. But it's not the case, and I think that I think you're right, Gav. He would have fucking gotten his feelings, done his best, Klay Thompson, gotten his feelings a bit, and fucking put us in a fucking hole. Yeah,
but I fully expect too that we love
Hey,
Clay
4
Thompson.
rings. 4 rings.
Yeah.
Yes. Fuck, I forgot.
He likes to let you know. No, look, book it now though. Book it now. He'll have 25 by halftime in the next game. He's
And
going to come out.
that's the
he's
thing.
gonna come out.
I think the beauty is that even though he's not vocal on the court or anything like that, KD and Book hold each other accountable. And I reckon KD went in after that game and went, man, stop your fucking whinging. Because KD was getting belted as well.
Yeah.
And then they call that shitty little blocking foul on KD when Cat's trying to run through his chest. And KD's up the other end getting shoved out of court. But the dude got on with playing the game. Now, I'm hoping KD went in afterwards and went, Book, you got to get out of your feelings, dude. If we want to go all the way, me and you have to. We have to be Batman and Robin, or Batman and Batman. That's who we have to be.
Last playoffs, so that's what happened last playoffs, right? You guys, they were dropping 35.
That's why we beat Denver. The games we beat Denver was because those two were doing the job that needed to be done. And the fact of the matter is, Book can't get in his feels like that because it hurts the team too much for him to do it. So, Book, step the fuck up. I know you're watching. Come on, man. We love you still. You're still our favorite. We don't really have any questions without notice here at the moment. Oh, actually, no. Before we pod again, there'll also be game 3, Boyd. So we're going to come out. We're going to blow them away in the first quarter in game 2. We're going to win it comfortably.
In Minnesota,
what are we going to do? What are we going to do in game 3 at home on the home court? Game 3. How's that going to play out after our magnificent victory on Wednesday? And by the way, that game is Saturday 12:30 our time.
I picked us to sweep the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I was wrong there. So now I'm just going to fall back on the general.
Well, you haven't predicted a loss all year, so don't.
True.
Funny.
And I won.
So you've been wrong 33 times.
Yeah, he's been wrong a lot more than that.
I was right more than I was wrong, now, Corey. Eh?
Yeah.
Plus 500 punter here. Tell you. Hey, if only I didn't have stupid multis and they weren't all just head-to-head bets. That'd be fucking. Anyway, I think first game at home, I've got high expectations for us bouncing back in Minnesota. So the first game of the series at home, I've got us winning convincingly as well. I don't know how I can tell you guys that it's going to be more convincing than Wednesday's game, but I'll just say that we win by 25 Saturday, and we get them by 20 on Wednesday. Same shit, different game.
So 20 again. All right, Corey. You've got to win in game 2. Do we back it up and win game 3 as well?
I actually think you do, and I actually think it's because, as we all know, the role guys, they play better at home when they sleep in their own bed and they're on their home floor. And your boy Eric Gordon, redemption game. I think he's going to.
He'd fucking want to.
Yeah,
that's hot as fuck. That take,
mate. Let's have going into game 3. Let's talk about it. Let's see what his over under is. Let's see where we're at, because it can't be much.
I'm going to put him in my multi, and now that I've got direct contact with you, if he fucking fails in that multi, I'm coming after you.
Oh man, sounds good. I own those things, so don't worry. But I'm serious. I actually think, because honestly, that's where you need your role guys back at home. Game 2, you're going to need a superhuman performance from Book and KD. But back at home, you're going to get some help. I think that it's more of a team effort back at home in game 3. I think that's what gets you over the line, is that you're going to have better effort from the role guys, and it's not going to be a superhuman effort from the 2 leaders.
What I will say is you go, Gav.
Yeah, well, it's fucking the whole show's been you so far. Can someone else have a turn, or
have a go, mate?
While I think game 2 is going to be Book and KD and Beal, Game 2 is my big 3 game. That's the big 3 are the ones that are going to do the damage and take us home with I think, a decent size win, 8-12. With game 3, I agree with you, Corey. I could see a little bit more of a spread. I actually think Grayson will sit game 2. I don't think he'll play, which is why the big 3 will pick up slack and do a little bit more. He'll come back in game 3, and that's where we'll see the 6-7 3-pointers from a Grayson Allen, and hopefully a couple from Eric Gordon. 3 from 4 will be fine, Eric. If you can do that, I'll put you down in my multi for 3 threes. And I think that's
your money, cunt. Fuck.
I think that'll also be the Nurkic game I'm going to call. So
Game 3, right?
I think game 3 is where Nurk will bully ball Rudy. I think that the big 3 are going to embarrass Gobert on the defensive end. They showed flashes of doing that in game 1. I think they'll do that. They'll target him in game 2, and then Nurkic will take advantage in game 3. And I think we win game 3 quite comfortably as well. So that's my prediction for the week too. We'll win both games. A big 3 game on Wednesday and a more even spread on Saturday.
I think if Frankie Fingers keeps on playing Eric Gordon in his 7-man rotation, which basically is what it was, he fucking
8-man.
better.
8-man.
It's 8-man. So that was
it was Royce, EG, and Eubanks.
Yeah. It was 8-man.
By the way, if Drew Eubanks isn't working, Frank, don't be afraid to put fucking Thad Young in. Anyway,
fucking A. So if he's insistent on letting him play through this slump, EG, he fucking better. He better fucking in the next 2 games. One of these games we need to see an Eric Gordon game, and I'm not talking 30 points because he's not that guy. I'm talking just an efficient. Just take the shots because he gets opportunities all the time, and he frustrates us with a pump fake, and then he fucking turns it over at the rim or he fucking bricks something.
My one is that shit 3-pointer early in the shot clock because he feels like he hasn't had enough shots yet, and he shoots it from fucking 4 steps back behind the 3-point line, and there's 15 seconds on the fucking shot clock. Just don't do that shit.
Oh mate, yeah, it shits me. So yeah, look, I think he led the bench in minutes yesterday. So I think if he doesn't, you might see him fall out of that over the next 2 games. It's a good little bracket that we've got there. So I think
Royce O'Neal led the bench in minutes, 26. EG had 21.
Was it?
Yeah,
21.
EG had 21.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think if he's going to keep that that 7th man spot that he's holding down right now, I think one of these next 2 games we need to see, and nothing major, just 2 from 4 or 3 from 6, just a nice 3-point shooting game from EG, because that's what he is. He has to realize that.
Now,
he needs to stop being a different player.
On Eric Gordon though, I'm going to go back to it again. I think I brought this up only a couple of weeks ago. Eric Gordon's best games this year is when he has played that Grayson Allen starting role.
Yeah.
So I know that we're starting to call for the Royce O'Neal, and particularly if Grayson Allen doesn't get up this week, or for one of the games, maybe next game, everyone's automatically going to go Royce O'Neal. I actually implore Frank, consider starting Eric Gordon, because they've been his best games this year when he started. And by a long way, he's had
his best games. Yeah,
he's had 3 30-point games when he started.
Yeah, but we might see fucking Ian Edwards have his fucking best quarter of the fucking year.
Yeah, we got Bradley Beal for it. I'm not so fussed about that.
Fuck it is, we're trying to hide Gordon on.
I do agree with one thing you said, and I think his minutes are going to be impacted in this game, and I think that we may even see a 9-man rotation in game 2. And I think Josh Okogie will play extra minutes. When Beal's off the floor, I think Okogie will come on and play on Ant.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask you about a Kogi. Like, what's happened there? Is he just lost the faith or what? Because
after the injury, he sort of didn't push his way back into the rotation, and he's not a good shooter. The big thing is that I think he's been exposed as a really poor offensive player, which leaves us where effectively, and the Lakers have done it to us before, they just go, don't even bother guarding him. Now, that means that they've got to run it. They've got the ability to double two of the three out of Book, KD, and Bradley Beal if Okogie's on the floor. And they'll just go leave him in the corner. Who cares? Yeah. Where they can't do that with Grayson Allen. Or even Royce O'Neal proved the other day they can't. Eric Gordon at the moment, he's kind of Josh Okogie with no defense. But I think if we're going to bring Beal off the floor at the moment, particularly with the shooting slump for EG, I would be looking at Okogie coming in and just going, Josh, you know what? You're going to play 8 minutes, 9 minutes for the game, mate. In that 9 minutes, you got 6 fouls. Make sure that dude gets nothing easy.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd be doing. Make sure the ball doesn't hit the bottom of the basket. If he's going to score, he scores from the foul line. That's what I'd be looking at if I was a Vogel. Yes. So actually, while I was going on my rant there, is there any world where you start Eric Gordon? His starting stats are better than his bench, but blah blah blah. Yes, that's
fucking blah blah.
Yes,
blah.
yes. There is a world that I would start Eric Gordon. Correct. Okay, we don't have any questions without notice, so we're going to just skip over that. I'm going to go straight into who am I. So, Corey, who am I? We do 5 clues. If you get it on the first one, you are representing the guests /chat, so that you guys have got a little bit of an addition here. Boyd is actually leading this year, which is sad. But we do the 5 clues. We run it through. And basically, if you get it in the first question, you get 5 points. Second question, 4, blah, 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 blah. If you guess and you get it wrong, you have to wait for the other person to have a guess in the next or the next round or whatever before you can have another guess. Now, what I've done is, given the fact that you're a KD stan and not a Phoenix Suns stan, I have got a Phoenix Sun who was or has been or was or has been or is a teammate of Kevin Durant.
Oh, okay.
Just to, just to see how that rolls out. All right.
Yeah, spicy.
Are you two ready? Chat, remember, if you guess, you have to wait until the end, and you also disqualify Corey from guessing. So,
and no Googling, cunts.
No Googling. All right. I was drafted in the first round of the 2005 NBA draft. Would anybody like to have a guess? For 5 points. Given the fact that there's only really 2 of you, this might be worth the risk. Then again, it might not.
So was a teammate of KD or is a teammate of KD?
Was or is.
Was a son. And was a son or is a son?
I didn't say he was. Well, yes, he was a son.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to.
At some stage, he was a son. I didn't. Where he was a teammate of KD, that's up for you to decipher.
Ooh.
Can I phone a friend?
No one having a guess for this one? Good. We'll roll into hint number 2.
No one's
hint number 2. Yeah, there's only 4 in the chat at the moment, so I don't know whether they'll have a go. I have played for 6 NBA teams in my career.
I know who it is.
So go on, boy.
Wait.
Oh, no, actually, I don't. I don't know.
6 NBA teams.
So obviously, this one we have a free clue. We have a free clue given the fact that he's is or has been a teammate of Kevin Durant. So an extra clue that you've got in this one, but no one wants to have a dip at that one. Clue number 3. I am a 12-time NBA All-Star.
Vince Carter.
Incorrect.
Fuck.
You basically get a free crack at this now.
He was
Well, my
drafted
first-
in the 90s. Fuck.
You have basically a free crack, Corey. So anyone you can think of, you can have a free crack
12-time
at this.
All-Star.
The only person I can think of, but I can't remember if he was 05 or whether he was earlier. And I can't remember him being a KD teammate. But my first thought was CP.
That is correct. It is Chris
Fuck.
Paul.
Seems too
Chris
easy.
When
Paul
was he a teammate?
Was last year.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Where
okay.
to? When you said 05, I instantly thought CP3 because the only person I could think of that was 05. But then I was like, when was he a KD? Because I didn't even click last year. But yeah,
Last year in the Valley, CP3, KD, and Devin Booker. The last two hints
There you go.
were, and this is where you would have got it. I am a 5-time NBA assist leader and a 6-time NBA steals leader. And the last clue was I am the point guard.
Up the guests. Hey, we beat you, Boydie.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, mate. Yeah.
3 points for the guests, closing the gap on Boyd. I love
Giddy up.
I love the fact that you bought the guest on the whoop your ass too. That makes it even better.
love
I
the
should have
fact
actually
that you,
just taken a
catered
guess.
This to him.
Should have had a
just
crack the
taken
first
guess
one.
on the first one, yeah, because I thought CP straight away, but I couldn't get it into my head when he played with fucking KD. I didn't even think about last year. There you go.
All right, gentlemen, the most important question of our pod.
I would kill everyone in this room for a drop of sweet beer.
So, Homer, please feel free to tell us anything.
Who do you want to have a beer with, Boyd?
I want to have a beer of Eddie Johnson. Eddie Johnson, the guy who keeps me in games whenever I get to listen to him on the Sportsbet app when it's a home game. Because I don't have League Pass, Corey. I got to fucking I got to watch it on the app. So, but Eddie Johnson for me, he's been going backwards and forwards with people on the Twitter, and just calling people out, man. He's brazen and he's an absolute laugh. But what I love about Eddie Johnson, and especially in this really testing season, has been the guy can talk me into us winning a game when we're 30 down with fucking 12 minutes to go, and he does it. And he breaks it up. He breaks it up into pieces for me. It's just all he's all that we gotta do.
This
over here.
is how we're going to do it. Yeah.
This is how we're gonna do it. What they need to do is they need to get it down to 25. They need to get it down to 25. He needs to take that shot. He can't be doing that. Get in rhythm. Don't just take the three. But man, he's just fucking. He's cool as fuck, and I love listening to him, and he keeps me listening to fourth quarters when we're getting blown out. It's brilliant. So I want to have a beer of Eddie for sure.
Corey, who do you want to have a beer with? Now, this segment, you can basically choose anybody in the NBA, or anybody anywhere. This is open slather. Anyone that you would just like to sit down and have a beer with.
Oh, mate, there's a lot, but to be honest, I'm going to say KD because that's my guy. But also, I just have so many questions, right? Like, I just think he's fucking interesting, dude. And I'd love to just if he was happy to just be open about shit, I'd love to just pick his brain on his thoughts on different things from over the years, like the move to Golden State, the fucking Brooklyn thing or New York Knicks thing, like all the different shit. I just love to understand that from a basketball fan. And obviously, I think he's the man. So it'd be cool to just sit down with him and just chop it up.
So that's going to lead on to my question for you. Why didn't you follow him to Brooklyn and now to the Suns?
Yeah, like I said at the start, though, it was primarily because I never really had a team as much as I did players because of obviously not being from America. But I wanted to lock in on a team that I could just follow no matter what. And it was also a team, geographically that I knew if I was going to the States, it was going to be somewhere that I could get to or would want to go to. And it was just the first logical move. He went from OKC to San Fran, and that was like, that'll do me. He's in California. I'm going to probably go to California more often than not. Makes sense.
Worst type of fan ever. fair weather fucking fans of basketball.
Hey, I've
Get a
stayed.
team, man.
I've stayed no matter what. I've stayed no matter what. It's the Warriors all
Yeah,
day.
but-
Doesn't matter
Well, we
what
know-
happens. Lose,
We
win,
know
lose.
how you
Doesn't matter.
use Golden State, and we know the
You
thought
won't-
process.
You
It doesn't
won't
cut
be a Golden State fan within 2 years. When Steph gets traded, you're going to be fucking out of Golden State. You'll be following the San Antonio Spurs and jumping on the Wemby bandwagon.
Oh no, I don't even watch the
and then
Spurs. I
supporting
can't
aliens. No, they're fucking horrible.
I know he's amazing, whatever, but I can't get behind Spurs at all. I was so gutted when they drafted him because I was like, it's Spurs, like, yuck. No, I'll
In 2
stay
years'
with the
team, it'll be the
Warriors.
Vegas team. It'll be the Vegas team. You'll have the jersey.
Oh yeah, I'll
Fucking
be
right.
going to Vegas. Don't worry about that, man.
Yeah,
I'll
it will
I'll
be.
going to
It'll-
Vegas.
It'll be the Vegas team, and the thing is that KD will probably join the Vegas team at that stage too. So
No, he's probably going to join the
wouldn't surprise
Timberwolves.
So, come on, we don't play those gags now anymore. We don't say if they get beat, KD wants to go there. It's
I've stayed with the Warriors and regardless, even in 21 when everyone was ragging, we went nowhere. We won like freaking.
Yeah, but that was injuries. That was injuries. That wasn't what's
It's a
coming.
dynasty over.
The dynasty is well and truly over. Draymond's gone. Steph's going to ask out. They're gonna end up being a Klay Thompson centric team, and Clay's going to shoot zero.
Pay them.
He's going to have one from 21 every fucking one. Didn't you see Steve Kerr? Oh, Clay's so important. We need him. Clay hasn't been important or relevant for fucking 2 years, Steve. He's done. He's cooked. Fucking move on.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Klay Thompson.
Mate.
I apologize, Corey. I really have a lot of hatred for Klay Thompson.
Why so much hate for Klay?
Too.
I'm just curious.
I just don't think he's a good person. He seems like
Klay Thompson's a good person.
He seems like a snooty piece of shit to me. And for me, I'm one of these people that if you get your ass cooked, cop it. Don't run around throwing up 4 fucking fingers. Get back and burn somebody and make them shut the fuck up. If you can do that, then you're the man. Not
Can I give you a devil's advocate point of view?
No, you can't. I fucking hate him. And you're not changing my mind.
No, I'm on the fucking Suns podcast. You do as you tell. No, but
not
honestly,
fucking changing my mind. I don't want to stop hating him. I love hating him.
I'm not trying to change your mind, but because I agree with you, it frustrates me when he was doing the 4 fingers stuff and he was getting cooked. Like it's silly. But think about it from just a man's perspective, playing sport competitively and always actually being at the top of the hill, right? Like he's had a good run for a lot of years where he was the man, and probably a lot of shooting guards coming in were looking at him and going like, he's the man, right? And now he's coming off the other side of that hill. It takes some maturity and some realization and some self-reflection to change your own viewpoint, right? And I think that he's being humbled through, the recent events, and I think his maturity is starting to come out. But I think he was basically
35 years old. What do you mean his maturity is starting to come out? Look, I played basketball my whole life.
Man, we take longer. What are you talking about?
I'm still at the top of the mountain.
Look at Boyd.
That's how fucking good I am. I'm still at the top of the mountain. But all I know is if somebody mouths off to me, all I want to do is beat them. I don't want to fucking talk to them about it. I just want to beat them, whether that's physically or on the court. It's one of those two.
I like Klay Thompson as a person. I think he'd be a funny cool guy to hang with. But that fucking four rings thing, and I like how he owned it on Playoff P's fucking stupid podcast. He owned it.
Yeah, he said,
he did, and I'll give him that.
That's what I'm talking about.
He went,
That's what I'm talking about.
Fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, the way that he carries on in general on the court when he's not going well, I just don't like it. I don't like watching it. I don't like watching him fucking cook us either. Just quietly, but
while we're on this too, apologies to Locked On Dubs. We're just some basketball fans who want to talk about basketball, so apologies. I know it upsets you when when fans want to talk basketball. You fucking sucks. No, fuck Klay. Fuck Klay Thompson. Fuck the Warriors. They're finished. They're cooked. It's over. The dynasty's over. Steph's going to get traded.
We'll see.
They're going to. Draymond's getting traded to the Phoenix Suns. We're just going to bring him in so that we can punch the fuck out of people. And he'll get suspended for half a year again, and then come back and go, "I'm really sorry," and then do something else stupid.
Hey, Gav, mate, if I was you, I'd be worried about losing this first round and then having only
No,
because you're married to Beal now.
Have you not seen Bradley Beal in the last month? I'm going to trade KD and fucking book before I trade Bradley Beal at the moment.
Mate, okay, you'll be the Wizards. You'll be the Wizards from 3 years ago.
I don't. We've already been there. We were there only 6 years ago, and 19 wins for the year. My beer, I want to have a beer with Men Ken Kenny from Twitter, who's always optimistic, does a game day post every fucking game, tags everyone in, gets the Suns community talking on Twitter. He's a good dude. It's good. It's great to see. One of the things we love, Corey, and you obviously probably don't see it, but the Suns Twitter community is they can be like any other team, completely toxic, but they are a fantastic group. Some of the stuff you commented on this stuff behind me here. A lot of this stuff was they did bobblehead days at basketball, and people got me a bobblehead and held on to it until I went over there. And these were just guys on Twitter that did this and held on and went, hey, here, we'll meet you outside the stadium, give you the Men Ken Kenny is one of those guys on Twitter. He tags everyone. He gets fucking 40 responses every single game day. Boyd, he tags you sometimes and whatever else. He mixes it up with who he tags. But for me, that's that community thing that Suns Twitter is about, and I love it. So well done, mate. I want to have a beer with you next time I'm over there. Boyd.
Time for the flog of the week, and trust me, they are ugly, very unattractive. Google their face when you're done here.
Who's your flog of the week, Boyd?
I'm doubling up on last week and going with Coach Frank Vogel. And it was it's flogging the EG dead horse, and it's still fucking freezing out Thad Young. And Eubanks is fucking. I know he only got 9 or 10 minutes, but fuck me, like if it's not working, it's not fucking working. It's fucking. You've got some cattle there that could be playing better than these guys, and I don't know. I don't know. It's killing me. So I'm going to give it to Frankie Fingers again. Bit boring, but it's the only thing that's with only the one game to look at, Gav. It's the only thing that's really bothered, really ticked me off. I've been staying off social media just because I don't want to fucking get into spray fucking contests with people. And Frankie Fingers.
So Corey, what tends to happen is we do flog of the week. It's one of our more popular segments. Boyd just picks one person, does no research for a month, and picks the same person for 4 weeks. And that's pretty much the entire contribution he gives to the show. Who's your flog of the week? Again, completely open. You can give it to anybody you like, in or out of the NBA world. Who's the biggest flog this week?
Oof. This is just a personal don't like him. And you talked about all the attitude and carry on and all the rest of it. It's Cat for me. I think he's a flog. I honestly find it hard to watch anything to do with him. He tries way too hard, and he just does my head in. And he carries on about not getting every call. The bloke has never, ever fouled anyone in his life, and he gets fouled 8 times every time he's got the ball, and he'll let you know about it too. I find him to be a bit of a flog, to be honest.
I think that one's pretty hard to argue, Boyd.
That's a good one. I should have spoken to someone on the Timberwolves, so I didn't get castrated by you.
You deserve to be castrated, mate. At least put some effort in sometimes. Like you know that we go once a week. Like surely you can think of some things over the course of the week. Any chance next week or?
Nah, fucking no.
Probably Cat next week.
It'll be Cat next week.
I'll text you.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, Don't forget to mention Cat as your flog of the week next week. My flog of the week goes to these people on Twitter who are out. Well, the big one today was there's people out on Twitter in the Twitter sphere, the Twitter universe, releasing shit like contracts and nudes and everything else of WNBA players. Now, the WNBA is an entertaining sport. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch it yet, I spoke about this last year. We went to a couple of games there live. It really is fun to watch. And Caitlin Clark coming in, she's going to be fucking fantastic. To be honest, this year's NBA draft looks a little bit short. She was probably the best option in the NBA draft, to be honest. That's how fucking good she is. But repeatedly, there are people that go onto Twitter, and they do it to basically anyone. It's tall poppy syndrome. But in particular around the young ladies that play in the WNBA and stuff like that, and releasing information and content that just shouldn't be out there. Leave them alone. Let these people earn their living, do what they need to do, because at the end of the day, it's the same as NBA players and when they cop shit from people on the sidelines. These guys come out every fucking day to entertain us. Do they get paid well for it? Yeah, they do. But why do we have to shoot and drag everyone down? Let's allow these people who entertain us on a daily basis to do what they do. That's pretty much
serious one.
all I've got there. Yeah, sorry about that, but I'm getting
like
kind of sick of it.
Deep. That was deep. That
It
one.
did. I'm getting kind of sick of it.
Yeah.
We did have a question without notice, and finally Dylan's fucking back. So I'm going to ask this before we do anything. The NBA logo, should we be changing it and getting rid of Jerry West?
Can we just ask Dylan, what does he want? Does he want to keep?
Yeah, that's right. What do you want to replace it with, Dylan? Because you're coming up with the problem but no solution. We need a solution. Boyd, you said MJ, yes. It's the Nike logo, man. It's the Nike logo. You can't make that
legit just go to your own fucking.
You have to go. It's the NBA. It's the Nike logo. You can't make that the NBA logo.
Fucking buy it, you can't. You've got enough money. Fucking make it happen. I'm sure Nike wouldn't mind sharing it.
So you want the iconic Jumpman logo to become the NBA logo?
Well, I love it. It looks sick.
That's idiotic. Corey, what do you think?
Nah, I'm old school. Just leave it. It's set. Don't do that. They're going to change it to the LBJ. Don't do it.
I don't think they'll change it to LeBron James because I'm just not sure
Kobe.
LeBron James
If they're going to change it, it's Kobe.
Yeah, I think it's Kobe as well. I think if they do change it, it'd be Kobe.
I think so.
Because you need the iconic pose type thing where, Jumpman, that Jumpman logo, it's iconic, but it's Nike. That's never happening. LeBron, does he really have an iconic type pose that you associate with LeBron?
Yeah, he's usually on the ground with his hands in the air complaining.
Yeah. Or this.
Him and Kat are from the same playbook.
They could change it to Nikola Jokic and have him eating a hamburger or something.
I love Dylan's comment there. Sean Marion logo.
Sean Marion was Sean got a post. I think it should be changed to the Devin Booker lay down after the fadeaway shot.
I've actually seen that. I've seen that mocked up, and it looks fucking awesome.
It's fucking awesome.
This might hurt your feelings, but what about the Luca book where they're leaning together?
Fucking don't ever do that again.
We fucking hate Luca here, mate.
No, I'm not a fan.
Do you mean this? Do you mean this one?
There's so many good ones, isn't there? There's so many. The internet's undefeated, honestly. The internet is undefeated. There's so many fucking good ones.
I think no, I do agree with you though. I think if they're going to change a logo, it's probably the Kobe fadeaway.
Or
Jay
Jay
Crowder salsa dancing.
what about Lance Stevenson? Lance Stevenson
blowing in LeBron's ear. I'm just maybe a Steph jump shot. I don't know. Look, to be honest, there's so many. You could do a Kareem skyhook. Like there is so many people you can change it to. But I'm with you. Leave it. That's how you built it. Leave it the way they will change it eventually. It's
because he's already not really relevant. Hey, like it's sort of he's already not relevant. But
and look, most of today's youth would probably not even know that that's Jerry West. So,
that's true.
But who knows? Who knows what they'll do? It's the NBA. Fucking somebody else will come in and replace Adam Silver. And actually, Adam Silver and Wemby are probably both from the same planet as like alien planet. So it might end up being Wemby. That wouldn't surprise me either. Boyd, last comments. Where can we find you?
At Bulls83 on the Twitter, at Fucko on a mystery platform. No one's found me yet. And you can find me at home in my garage, sweating my ass off right now.
Fuck, I wish I was freezing here in Melbourne. Corey, last comments. Where do we find you?
No idea, to be honest. I'm not out there.
Are you still potting, Corey?
I've got a work one that I do, but that's about it. I haven't been doing the sports one, so
yeah.
You can still plug your work one if you like.
Oh yeah, sure. If you want to get into that, it's called Major Combos. It's on Spotify. It's it's all business stuff. We got guests from all different industries, mainly centered around our industry. We're an RTO training. We do training for apprentices and trainees, so it's all in and around that space. But yeah, some pretty cool guests on there. But check it out, Major Combos. Otherwise, I'm on Insta, Life Like CB. That's about it. But I'm not really on there too much either. So, but thanks for having me, boys. It's been fun,
mate. We appreciate you coming on. We had a good chat. We found out a little bit more about KD, like the fact that he has always been a turnover merchant. But we still love the dude. He's in Phoenix now, so we love him. Follow us on Twitter at Aussie Suns Fans, YouTube at Aussie Suns Fans. Like, subscribe, do all that sort of shit. Leave a comment so that I don't have to read 15 comments from Boyd. Please, somebody just fucking get on and like and subscribe and leave a comment. That's it. I just don't want to fucking listen to Boyd anymore. And I do appreciate your comment, though, Boyd, that I pick on you too much. So I apologise for that on your comment on the last video.
Talk to HR.
Look, talk to HR. We got. I think he's tried to talk to HR a few times already about me, but this is a man that did rock up to last week's pod and drop his pants and rub his ass crack on the screen. So
that was
if he really if he wants to go to HR, we've got some ammunition coming back.
Gav's missus has blocked me, mate. So I can't talk to HR anymore. They've had enough of me.
Too many complaints.
Two games this week against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Hopefully next time we pod next weekend, it will be a 2-1 Suns lead heading into game 4. Book, KD, Bradley, Frank, Eric Gordon. Rock up, play these games, and stand in the face of Anthony Edwards and tell him we're not here to fuck spiders.
Nope.
As Chris Paul gets in, another wide open 3.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing but